Hello, this is Dr. Mears, and today we're going to be learning about mean, median, mode, and modal class. And this is the example that I used when we did our grouped frequency in our histogram. It's about how my mom thought I was talking on the phone for too long, and I recorded the lengths of 30 calls that I made. It's the same data, and what I want you to do is actually to fill out the grouped frequency again and do the histogram again. I did leave it blank on purpose. I do want you to get some extra practice. So please pause the video here and do that, and then we'll come back. Okay, welcome back. So hopefully this is what you did. You had time, frequency. Here's your groups, the frequency of each number that occurs within those groups, and then this is your nice little histogram that you have here. So what we're going to do today is mean, and we can do mean a couple different ways, and we're going to go through that. So you're going to definitely need to take out your calculator, and you're going to need to pick up a sheet that I gave you, and the sheet is this calculator sheet right here. It says to find mean, median, quartile, max, min, and using one variable statistics on the calculator. And we're going to do we're going to run a one variable statistics. We're going to be getting a lot of information. We're going to have to decipher which information is mean, which is median. And you're also going to be using this again to find the max and the minimum and the quartile, so on and so forth. So the first way that we're going to be using the calculator is on a single set of data. And this is what a single set of data looks like. It's just the raw data. So take out that calculator sheet, and I want to go through it quickly with you. The first box is how to clear data. The second one is how to enter it. And then this third one down here is how to do one variable statistics, and please note single set of data. So this is the one that I'm going to want you to try. So please go through. If you need to clear, here's how to clear. This is definitely how to enter that data, and all you're doing is you're entering this data into that list one, and then you're going to do what it says here. So again, please pause, try it out, ask me some questions because we're in class, and then come back to the video. Okay, welcome back. So what you should have done is you should have done a one variable statistic, and I'm going to go down here, on a single set of data. And so I'm just going to put my hand like that. And this is your mean. You should have noticed was the X bar. That's the symbol for mean on the calculator. And you should have received a mean of 11.6, and let's write minutes here. So 11.6 minutes. The median, and it should have been MED in the calculator, is median, and your median should be 7.95 minutes. And I don't believe that there's a mode. Now, on the calculator, there wasn't a mode like button, or there wasn't anything that denoted mode. So what you would really have to do is look through to see if there was a number that was being repeated. And I have not found one in here. If I am wrong, please correct me. But I have not seen a number repeated or occurring the most. So now we're going to learn how to do mean and median with groups. So this is a grouped frequency table. And on your calculator, I want you to notice underneath where it said single set, you also have frequency table to do one variable statistics with a frequency table, and to do one variable statistics with a grouped frequency table. And this is the one that we're going to use. This one, the regular frequency table, is when you just have one number in the first column or the first row. We would have one time. It would be in minutes, like 2 or 4. But we are doing grouped because we have groups underneath that time column. So this is the one that you're going to use. And I need you to realize it says to do one variable statistics group frequency table. Underneath it says before you enter data, find midpoint of each class. This is how to find the midpoint in this text box I told you. To find midpoint of each class, find the mean of the class limits. So midpoint equals lower boundary plus upper boundary divided by 2. So we have to make another column now and do that. So I'm going to extend this column here, extend this down, and I'm going to label this midpoint. And so for each one of these, I have to find the midpoint. So I have to add 0 plus 5 divided by 2, I get 2.5. I'm going to have to add 5 plus 10 divided by 2 and get 7.5. This one I'm going to add 10 plus 15 divided by 2 and I get 12.5. Add these two up, divided by 2, 17.5. These two, 22.5. 27.5, 37.5, oh, sorry, going too fast, 32.5, and 37.5. So now instead of having groups here, we have one number, 2.5, 7.5, 12.5, 17.5, so on and so forth. So the two columns you're now going to use are going to be midpoint and frequency. So those are the two columns. This is going to be in that first list. This will be in your second list. So I need you now to take out these directions here and do the grouped frequency table in your calculator and get the mean and median, and we'll pause and we'll come back. Okay, welcome back. So we had the single set. Now we have the grouped frequency. I'm going to use our notation. So our X bar, which is, remember, our mean, for that is 11.8 minutes. And our median is 7.5 minutes. Again, I don't see any repeated, so I'm just going to leave there's no mode here. So that's how to find mean, median, and mode. Mean and median from your calculator. Again, mode, you're going to have to look to see where that most repeating is. Next, what I want to do is I want to introduce modal class. So modal class is a class that has the highest frequency. So because we don't have a mode that repeats in our data, we don't have one number that's being repeated, we do have one group, and that's this group right here, that has the most. That's called modal class, highest frequency. So the highest frequency here is 10. So I look to see what group that is. That's 0 is less than or equal to t, which is less than 5. So our modal class down here, from looking at our group frequency, is 0 is less than or equal to t, which is the time, which is less than 5. So when I ask for a modal class, I'm actually asking you to look. Who has the highest frequency? Write down that class. So we may not have a single number that repeats or occurs the most. We do have a group that occurs the most, which has the highest frequency. So that's the difference between mode and modal class. Okay. Next, I have a list here, so I'm looking through to make sure I got everything. We are going to be talking about skewness. So this wasn't mentioned on, I didn't say on the title, didn't say and skewness, but this does have to do with mean and median. So skewness has to do with our density curve. And remember, our density curve is a smooth curve that outlines the distribution of the data. And we also said that this is going to be right skewed because that's where the tail goes. So this is right skewed because the tail, the lower part and tail goes right. Well, here's the interesting thing between mean and median. Right skewed, let's look at the mean and let's look at the median. Now, we have two different ones. They're actually very similar. This one's 11.6 and this one's 11.8. So the more accurate one is going to be from your single set of data because remember this one incorporated the midpoints. So it wasn't perfectly, we didn't have the numbers from the raw data in our calculators. We just had the midpoints. So when you're using your data, I would really like for you to use your raw data and base it on a single set. That's the more accurate mean. So that's the one that we're going to use for this comparison. Okay, so we're going to go back to right skewed. Now let's on our graph put where mean and median are. So our mean is 11.6, so that would be down here. So this is going to be X bar, 11.6. And our median is 7.95. So let's put that here. 7.95. So if you notice, and I'm going to write 11.6 and 7.95, our mean is greater than our median. If our mean is greater than our median, that means that we do have a right skew. So this is how to verify your reasoning that it is right skewed. We said the arrow goes down and towards the right on our graph, correct. Now we can prove it by saying that our mean is greater than our median. And that's because the mean tends to go towards any outliers. It tends to go towards the numbers that lie outside of the data. So the mean loves to follow this tail. So anywhere the tail is, you're going to find your mean going towards it. And so that's why this is right skew. Now, if it was the other way around, where mean was less, guess where the arrow would go? The arrow would go towards the left. So left skew is where it would look like this, where our tail goes towards the left. And in left skew, we would see that our X bar would be towards the mean. Our X bar, which is mean, would be towards the tail here. And our median would be on the other side. So this is when our mean is less than our median. Because again, there might be an outlier that lies over by the tail by itself, which is where the outlier, there might be only one or two of those numbers. That's why they're called outliers, because they lie outside. And there's also symmetric. Oh, there's the bell. Everyone's going to hear that. And what symmetric is, that's probably perfect, is where we have two tails and they're even. X bar and median are the same. So X bar equals median. This has been Dr. Mears talking about mean, median, mode, and modal class. Hope this helped. Ask me some questions and keep practicing your graphing calculator.